Back before there was a plethora of 7,800 homebrews, we would have to look at the 2,600 homebrew scene or pray to the good God in the sky of video game freedom and love that something would poop out his grace hole and we would have something to play. We were always hoping for prototypes, hidden games, missing files that were locked away on weird, thrown away Atari ST computers, and we got lucky because not only did we get one really good shoot 'em up from Tynesoft back in the early double aughts, we got another one here, and for some reason I haven't reviewed this before, but today we're going to take a look at Plutos, the Fresh Maker.
Hola, childs. It's time for Funkmaster V's Getting Hip with the Atari 7800, where Funkmaster V, musician, ghost hunter, hat flipper, pro wrestler, and comedian takes you on a tour of all things cool about the Atari 7800. Are you ready to get your groove on? Because it's about to get funky up in here.
Did you know that to name a video game, all you had to do was add an S to an existing planet? It works wonderful. Pluto becomes Plutos. The moon of Neptune, Gong Gong, becomes Gong Gongs. Isn't that better? And Uranus becomes Uranus. S's save the day. And like I said before, Plutos and Sirius were found on an Atari ST computer, so it all makes sense. Isn't that a nice segue? I've decided I'm not going to do 12 or 20 minute videos reviewing shoot 'em ups any longer because most shoot 'em ups are really good. Some are kind of crappy. Again, we'll go back to this is a prototype that was found on an old computer and we're lucky to have it. We do not know what state this game is in, how finished it was. The sound is a little sparse. The graphics look great, except for the boss battles. The boss battles look terrible, and they act terrible. I would hope somebody somewhere was going to spruce those up, because they all act the same, they all look stupid, and they're easy to destroy. Plus, their attacks are lame. Every shoot 'em up has a gimmick, and the main gimmick is how you decide to power up your ship. Kind of cool. It's like a light RPG element to it in a way. And you do this by running over numbers that are left behind by vanquished ships that you've destroyed. Explaining this gameplay mechanic is much more difficult than actually just experiencing it yourself. But basically, there are 3 different types of power-ups. Number 1 is dual rapid-fire lasers. Number 2 are spread shots. And number 3 is a power laser. So when you hit one of these corresponding numbers, you actually level up this particular weapon up 1. There's a maximum of 4 levels, and at the end, the 4th one is pretty good on each of these, except I do think the 3rd power-up is pretty lame. The power laser, it's a big, thick, juicy laser, but I don't think they played it right. I wish you were able to kind of hold down the button and cut everybody as you sweep back and forth, left and right. That would have been cherry. As it stands, it's not a viable option. I think the guy that broke the world record, he uses Power Up 1, and that's probably what you should do, even though Power Up 2 has a lot of really cool variations on the different types of spread shots. In fact, horse around with both and see what you like. So, in a way, the power-ups become obstacles, too, because if you've powered up your option number 1, the dual rapid-fire laser, to level 3, and then you accidentally pick up a number 2, you're going to revert back to the lowest and crappiest version of that particular power-up. Kinda lame, so watch out for that. Conversely, it's like basketball. If you guys ever played 21, which is a street basketball game, if you get over 21, let's say you're at 20 and you hit a 3-pointer and you hit 23, you go back to 0. Well, the same thing kind of happens here. Let's say you're at the max level on number 2 and you're just rocking and rolling with your awesome spread shots and you accidentally pick up another power-up of number 2. It actually goes back to level 1 and then you're kind of fighting the world with an anemic power-up. This sounds complicated, but it's not. The graphics are really impressive. But when you find out that actually the 6 levels are really just 3 levels with palette swaps and different colors, it hurts the experience a little bit. But you really have to be paying attention to that to even notice, because the background graphics are amazing considering this was made in the 80s for an Atari 7800. The game is fairly difficult, I would say, but once you get past level 3, the difficulty really ramps up to a nauseating level. The ships are much faster, they start shooting at you a lot more, and you're going to be in a lot of trouble if you're not good at these types of games. Another one of the best things about this game is the fact that 2 players can play simultaneously, and the second player's ship looks incredibly cool. It's a really cool looking ship, and I would love to have a friend that would play this with me, because we might be able to trip the game together, having all that firepower on the screen at once. Well, all that being said, it's a good game. It's a great game. It's for a shoot 'em up. It handles good. There's no glitching. There's no blinking like there would be if this was a Nintendo game. This is very much like Raiden. And so we're going to give it this score here. I don't like this game nearly as much as Sirius, because I think Sirius's levels are better planned out and the bosses are much better. And that's saying something, because the Sirius bosses aren't very good either. The sound is almost vacant, but everything else about this game is great, and it impresses anybody who's ever played a 7800 before and they had to play that game Galaga and pretend that was good. So to compare it to other similar vertical scrolling shoot 'em ups on the 7800, it's much more impressive than Planet Smashers. The audio is much better. Planet Smashers may be a little bit more creative in some ways, but this game is superior. Xevious is very similar to this, and that one's going to be a toss-up on which one you prefer. Both are very good, but I would give the nod to Plutos being superior just because of the simultaneous 2-player action if you have access to a humanoid. But at the end of the day, this isn't rocket science. This is a pretty easy game to understand. It's just a good game, and I think you can still buy these at a website called Good Deal Games. And if you have about $40, I think it's worth picking this one up and Sirius. And they're 2 of the better games in the entire system. Even though it's not technically 100% finished, it's good enough to where I can't even really pick out what's missing. Alright guys, we appreciate the love. Keep watching this channel for more Atari content. Also, Wrestling with Ghost, our paranormal show. We're going to start showcasing Great American Wrestling, which is a show me and my tag team partner Big Luke Walker produced and booked back in 2015, and we're going to talk about our experiences with that Fox wrestling show. And also, don't forget, all of our movies will soon be on Tubi, and that's 4 different films to sate your big and funky appetite. And we've also got some more exciting stuff we're going to do on the channel, so just stay tuned and stay glued and just masturbate quietly.